Time has passed with the swiftness of light. It is already morning. Impermanence rushes upon us every moment. Mara follows every step. O practitioners of the way, strive diligently, attain nirvana. Rare is it to meet with the Dharma, ultimate and profound, even though one seeks for hundreds and thousands of aeons. Fortunately, we now hear and receive it. We pray that we may understand the Tathagata's true meaning. Let the Blessed One teach the Dharma. Let the Sublime One teach the Dharma. There are beings with little dust in their eyes who are wasting through not hearing the Dharma. There will be those who will understand. The Buddha has said, "Open for them are the doors of the deathless. Let those with ears now show their faith." Refugees and invocation. Buddhas throughout space and time, reverently do we adore you. Dharmas to the end of time, reverently do we adore you. Sanghas so exemplary, reverently do we adore you. To this holy place, Amida Buddha, highest one, bring your presence now, I pray, to this holy place. Shakyamuni, enlightened one, bring your presence now, I pray, to this holy place. Tathagatas of all worlds, bring your presence now, I pray.
Namo Amida Bu.
Namo
Thank
Amida Bu.
you. So we'll do some Nembutsu chanting now, and I hope you can hear me okay. But some of you may recognize this tune, and so if my sound comes out all broken, then please unmute yourselves, and then you can help other people to get the right tune. And so, Namo Mito Ofo 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 Namo Mito Namo Mito Ofo Namo Mito Ofo Namo Mito Om To Pho Namo To Pho Namo To Pho Namo To Pho Namo To Namo To Pho Namo To Pho Namo To Pho Namo To Pho. We will now recite the summary of faith and practice, which is in the service book, and I've put the link to the service book in the chat bar if you'd like to click it open and turn to page 1. Summary of faith and practice. For those having a karmic affinity with Amitabha Buddha, wishing to practice a religious life in truly simple faith, freeing themselves of sophistication and attachment to all forms of cleverness, the method of opening oneself to Amitabha's grace is the practice of Nien Pho with body, speech, and mind, particularly verbal recitation of Namo Amidabu. This is not something done as a form of meditation, nor is it based on study, understanding, and wisdom, or the revelation of deep meaning. Deep meaning is indeed there, for the Nembutsu is a window through which the whole universe of Buddha's teaching can be perceived in all its depth. But none of this is either necessary or even helpful to success in the practice. Rather, such study cultivates secondary faculties to be held separate from the mind of practice itself. The primary practice requires only one essential. Realize that you are a totally foolish being who understands nothing, but who can, with complete trust, recite Namo Amidabu. Know that this will generate rebirth in the Pure Land without even knowing what rebirth in the Pure Land truly is. This is the practice for ignorant beings, and ignorance is essential for its accomplishment. This practice automatically encompasses the 3 minds and the mind of contrition as a 4th. To pursue something more profound or more sophisticated, or to have a theory, or to think that understanding will yield greater enlightenment than this, is to be misled, and to fall back into self-power, whereby the whole practice is spoiled. However wise, learned, or skilled you may be, set it aside and be the foolish being completely in the performance of the practice. Nothing else is required, and anything else is too much. Faith and practice cannot be differentiated. The Buddha body is delineated by the precepts. how deficient we are by comparison. By our daily difficulty in the perceptual life, we awaken to the presence of the myriad karmic obstacles without which we would already perceive the land of love and bliss. We would be as the vow body of Buddha. Thus, we know in experience that we are foolish beings of wayward passion. This knowledge of our condition is part of the essential basis when it gives rise to contrition. Thus, all obstacles become impediments to faith unless we experience contrition and letting go. Saving grace, as was made clear by Shan Dao's dream and advice to Tao Cho, only comes through the Sangye Mon. If you can perform practice in this simple minded way, Amida will receive you, and you may fear for nothing, since all is completely assured. Dwelling in this settled faith, you may then use your secondary faculties, your knowledge and skills and accumulated experience as tools for helping all sentient beings. But do not then think that anything of relevance to your own salvation is thereby accomplished, nor that you are making something of yourself. Whatever there may be in your actions of this kind, immediately and totally dedicate it to the benefit of others, that they may enter the pure land, and that you yourself may not be encumbered by consciousness of virtue, which will only contaminate the practice. As Honen says, without pedantic airs, fervently recite the name. We'll now have a period of Naquan and Chiquan for those who attended the NICAN talk by Kimito or the practice session led by Caroline. You'll know what to do. If you haven't, then we'll we'll um, we'll contemplate what we've received and what we've done in return and what trouble we've caused over the last 24-hour period. You can go back further if you like, but if you want to just focus on the last day, that's fine. And so just find somewhere comfortable to sit. You don't have to stay by your computer so long as you can hear me, and find somewhere comfortable where you can just sit nicely so that all your focus can go on these questions, looking at everything that we've received in concrete terms. The questions that we'll be focusing on are, what have I received? What have I done in return? And what trouble have I caused? Infinite light, be my delight, shine on me, an ordinary. Infinite light, be my delight, shine on me, an ordinary. Infinite light, be my delight, shine on me, an ordinary. So now we'll move into a period of Qigong. Qigong is a time when we can bring the Buddha to mind. So I invite you now to imagine the Buddha, Amida, all the bodhisattvas are now here with us in your room, wherever you are. They've been watching us do the practice. They know what we've received. They know what we've done in return. They've seen us cause trouble. And they know just by our own existence what trouble we've caused. And so bring them to mind now. It's because of the trouble and the difficulties that we cause that they've come here, that they're with us. And they have that tender look on their face, a look of compassion. And just imagine that we're going to put everything that's come up and everything that we feel into a box. So we're putting everything that's come up from the Naquan into a box. And this box we're going to wrap up like a Christmas present. So this is our gift, our offering. This is our dana to the Buddhas. It's being generous about not hiding our shame, our lack, our failings. We offer it. And so you can imagine wrapping it and presenting it in however way you want. And it's not the usual kind of present. It is a mixture of bitterness and sweetness, of sorrow and joy, of shame and pride. This is what we as human beings have to offer. So just spend your time now putting in everything that you want. And you can make lots of different presents if you want. This is a time when you can imagine how you want to put all of these experiences, all of these feelings into different boxes or containers and wrapping them up in a certain way. And just imagine that the Buddha, who you're going to offer these boxes to, these presents now that you've wrapped to, just imagine that they are receiving them. They don't reject anything. They receive, and they know the difficulties. They know the how hard it is to actually let go of these things and to offer them to a Buddha. But the Buddha receives everything. The Buddha is very gentle, very caring about it. And so we'll just spend some time now just imagining putting everything into these boxes, everything that's come up in the Naquan or anything else that we're feeling into these boxes or containers. Spend a bit of time imagining how you want to gift wrap it and present it to the Buddha. Namo Amida Bum. Namo Amida Bum. Namo Amida Bum. Namo Amida. Namo Amida Bum. Namo Amida Bum. Namo Amida Bum. Namo We will now chant the prayer of all lineages, which is on page 4 of the service book. Prayer of all lineages. I open my heart to you, Buddha Shakyamuni. Please show me the way to go forth, turn the wheel of perfect Dharma, and reveal the essence of Upaya. I open my heart to you, Buddha Amida. Please do not despair that I may heed you. Wait for me with your great patience and show the radiance of the pure light. I open my heart to you, Quan Yin. Please be here with me through all of my life. Guide me into paths of kindness and show me ways of wise compassion. I open my heart to you, great Samanta Bhadra. Please come to us in times of darkness. Help us fill the world with offerings and open up the path of goodness. I open my heart to you, foremost disciples, Sujata, foremost in kindness, Upali, foremost in Vinaya, Ambapali, foremost in understanding, impermanence, Anuruddha, foremost in vision, Sona, foremost in practice, Anatampindika, foremost in generosity, Queen Vaidehi, foremost in seeing the Pure Land, Rahula, foremost in good deeds, Katyayana, foremost in explanation, Bada, foremost in learning Dharma, Subhuti, foremost in penetration of Shunyata, Sundarananda, foremost in equanimity, Purna, foremost in teaching, Pattakara, foremost in inspiring others, Moggallana, foremost in power of spirit, and all the other great disciples who have revealed the Sangakaya. I open my heart to you, gurus of the earliest Dharma, Shariputra, Pajapati, great Kashyapa, kind Ananda, Pindola, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the path of freedom. I open my heart to you, gurus of the Sarvastivada, Shanavasa, Madhyantika, Upagupta, Udila, Udadeva, and all the other precious teachers who taught the path of all existence. I open my heart to you, gurus of the Madhyamika, Venerable Manjushri, Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the path of voidness. I open my heart to you, gurus of the Yogacara, Venerable Maitreya, Noble Asanga, Vasubandhu, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the path of vastness. I open my heart to you, gurus of the Mantrayana, Yeshe Padma Sambhava, Tilopa and Niropa, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the path of Tantra. I open my heart to you, gurus of the Theravada, Venerable Dasaka, Sonaka, Moggalliputta, Buddhaghosa, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the path of pure form. I open my heart to you, gurus of the Bodhisattvavada, Vimalakirti, Shantideva, Venerable Atisha, Yelvi Chutsai, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the Bodhicitta. I open my heart to you, Tathagata Garbhavada, Queen Srimala, Gunabhadra, Tanpin, and all the other precious teachers who taught purity of nature. I open my heart to you, gurus of the Avatamsaka, Tushun, Jian, Fazang, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the way of knowing. I open my heart to you, gurus of the lotus lineage, translator Kumarajiva, Huisu, Chi, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the lotus samadhi. I open my heart to you, gurus of the Jnana school, Bodhidharma, Pai Chang, Lin Chi, Ehe Dogen, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the inner light path. I open my heart to you, gurus of the Pure Land lineage, Master Tanluan, Tao Cho, Shandao, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the vision of harmony. I open my heart to you, gurus of the late transmission, Soyen Shaku, Daiset Suzuki, Tri Kwang, Tupten Yeshe, Kyabje Kabu, Ambedkar, Ananda Meteya, Chogyam Trungpa, Achan Cha, Nishitatsu Fuji, Suyun, Tuto, Taisu, Yin Kwang, Hunjiu, Gisho Saiko, and all the other precious teachers who have refreshed the precious Dharma. I open my heart to you, my kind, precious teachers who care for those with uncontrolled minds, untamed by all the previous Buddhas, as if they were fortunate disciples. Please pour down your inspiring blessings upon myself and on all others to quickly stop all perverse minds from disrespect to our kind teacher, to the most subtle form of grasping. Please pour down your inspiring blessings upon myself and on all others to quickly generate pure minds from respect for our kind teacher to the supreme mind of radiance. Please pour down your inspiring blessings to pacify all obstructions, outer and inner. From the hearts of all the holy beings, streams of light and Amrita flow down, granting blessings and purifying. Namo Amida. Can everyone hear me okay? I hope I'm not frozen and not breaking up. Maybe I'll turn my video camera off.
You're fine.
And then you'll hear me better. Okay, wonderful. So, as we've just sung, a lot of different types of Buddhist schools and traditions exist, and Pure Land is one of them. And what I found in my own spiritual journey is that I've come in through the Pure Land tradition, but I've been blessed to actually see and experiment and practice a lot of the other ones. And I see it as a garden with many different gates, and it's large and it's unfathomable actually at how big it is. But there's lots of different gates, and one of them is the Pure Land. And Maybe you've experienced entering in this garden from a different gate, but once you're inside the garden, then you see the wonderful variety that exists in Buddhism. So this morning, I'd like to flesh out the bamboo and the Amida Buddha positions a little bit more. And we say it so easily, so we accept it, but what does it really mean when we say our bamboo nature? When I talk about it, I usually just expand it by saying, well, foolish being of wayward passion. And that's enough. That's what a bamboo is. And it is, but it can also be confusing. There's a neat way to understand the four measurables, and each of the four measurable qualities have a near and far enemy. And so I was thinking about, what are the near and far enemies of the bamboo position? So if bamboo is someone who's ignorant, is someone who is foolish, then the far enemy would be someone who is proud, conceited, someone who thinks that they can do everything by themselves, or they use others and they take the reward and they don't actually praise the other. If at all I start breaking up and you can't hear me, then if someone can tell me, I'm just going to carry on talking as if you can hear me fine. So I like to use the image of, yeah, thank you. I like to use the image of a hole, a pit. So just imagine that we as bamboo, what we do and what our lot in life is suffering. We have dug ourselves a hole. Sometimes the hole was dug out for us and we've fallen in. This is our dukkha. So the bamboo position is to be in this hole. And the hole is, it's a deep enough hole. Just imagine a hole that you would dig out for a grave. It's deep. You're underground far enough so that you can't climb out very easily. And it's a big enough hole that you're not completely uncomfortable down there. And it's big enough so that there, oh, just 1 second. Pardon? Yeah. There you go. It's a sort of size where when the sun is shining on an angle, there's a stream of light that is coming in and filling part of that hole that we're in. And this is Amida's light. This is a light that's coming from the Dharma. But because it's coming at an angle, it's not filling up the entire hole that we're in. It's only filling up some of it. So the far enemy of the bamboo position would be the proud and conceited person who sets up bright lights to fill the entire hole. But they don't actually go into Amida's light. They've just set up a set of lights that are so bright that they light up the whole hole. Then when they look around and they see someone else who's actually dug an even deeper hole for themselves, they know the answer. They can see what the other person needs to do to get out of that deep, dark hole. And they put themselves in a position of us and them. I've figured out how to solve this problem, and let me show you the way, or tough luck on you. you get your own set of lights and find a way to light up your own hole. So that's the conceited, proud, arrogant position. And the near enemy, this is the confusing one that we could easily slip into, thinking that as foolish beings of wayward passion, well, then it's hopeless. We can't change. Why even bother? So this near enemy of the bamboo is complacency. It's apathy. It's actually saying, this is how I am, and I can't do anything about it. And therefore, I'll carry on doing the things that I do because I'm a foolish being. And in a way, we then find reasons, we can justify what we do, and we have that excuse. But this is how I am, so be it. So this is like being in that deep dark hole and seeing the light, but actually choosing not to move into it, choosing to stay in the dark, even though Amita's light is shining in part of that deep dark hole that we're in. So the complacent position, the apathetic position, is to say, well, I'm in this deep dark hole, and yeah, this is my hole. I've made it the way that I feel comfortable, and I'm not going to move into Amita's light because I found some nice say comforts, nice habits, nice things to keep everything in place so that I don't have to risk anything and lose anything that I found in deep hole. In contrast to the bamboo position, which is if we really feel that we're foolish beings of wayward passion, if we really truly feel that we're vulnerable and fragile, and we're sitting in our deep dark hole, and we see the light, crave to go into the light because actually it's cold and hard to stay in the dark and to stay without any light or warmth. And once we see that light coming in, there's a longing to go into it, and we move into that light and that space, and that warms us up so that we can actually see a little bit better what we need to do, and we change. So the change comes from accepting that we are stuck in a pretty awful predicament, and it brings up so many feelings. But in that light, we have a chance to hold it, and then we have a choice to actually continue to move to where the light is, because as you know, the sun, it rises in the east and it sets in the west, and as it moves across the sky, where it shines in our hole will change during the day. And what that means is that if we focus on the light, then we're always having to change and move to where the light is. It doesn't just stay where we want it to be. It doesn't just stay in one place. And if we can see that the light brings us warmth so that we can actually recognize where we've gone wrong, what we did and what we could do differently, then we always change, we grow, we learn. And it's not to say that we never make mistakes, but the mistakes will be different every time. We'll keep learning new things, we'll keep finding out more different things. And so this is a person who's able to have that humility, that they're humble in what they think they know, and they're willing to discover and be surprised by what they don't know about themselves and about other people. And they're constantly longing for that light. And then we have Amida and faith in Amida. There's also a near and far enemy for this. So the far enemy would be fear. Someone without faith, someone who lives without trust, is someone who's full of fear, someone who is worried and doubts everything, questions everything. This is someone, I think the example that I'll use for this is swimming. So my children, they go swimming. They have swimming lessons. And luckily for them, I started taking them swimming when they were babies. And that was because I read up on it, and I met some other mothers who were swimmers themselves, and they explained that as babies, if they can go swimming before they're 9 months, then they won't be scared because they'll remember that they came from a place completely immersed in water in the womb. It was full of fluid, and uh, and and this was my experience of them as babies. They loved the water. They were happily going under the water and coming up, and they loved that sensation. Children who started swimming after 9 months or later on when they're 4, they have so much fear. They do not want to stick their heads underwater at all. They have completely forgotten that they once came from water and that they were completely okay in water, and they don't trust that they'll be okay when they put their heads under the water. So what do? This is what we would do if we didn't trust going underwater. We hold on to the side, grip it really hard, and the coach or the parent, whoever's helping them to learn, is trying to pull them away. And they're trying to take the fingers off the edge of the pool. And as they do that, then that child just grabs hold of the person. Even if they can reach the bottom, no problem. They will still cling on and hold on to whatever it is that will support them, because they have that fear. They don't completely trust that they'll be okay. And as we know, when we're in water, we float. If we can relax completely, the water will actually hold the person, even if it's just the bit of the face. Sometimes if you're your body is too stiff or moving around too much and flailing about, or if there's not enough body fat, then the possibility of sinking very deep is there. But most times, just with a little bit of help, then we'll float. But that sense of living without faith is clinging on to things that we think will support us, holding on to things, and worrying about what will happen if we let go of the object that is supporting our lives. And so we see this in society. There's so much fear around at the moment that I see, so much uncertainty, that it's actually making people cling on even more to the things that they've already put their hopes on. And doing that, and then seeing how all of the things that they're clinging onto is falling away, and they're being forced to find something else to cling on to, and there's so much fear. And so this is the far enemy of faith. The near enemy of faith, I guess, would be something like faith without vulnerability. This is a kind of belief in something where it becomes an armor. So rather than opening our heart and seeing how vulnerable we are, so that we can actually have this trust to be vulnerable, it's a trust or a faith that actually is protecting our vulnerability. And this kind of faith and trust is around as well. It comes in the form of extremism. It comes in the form as I'm right and you're wrong. And if you're not willing to take my position, then our conversation is over. Thank you, goodbye. And I'll go and find someone who believes exactly what I believe in, because I know that they exist, because of course I'm right. And sadly for the rest of you, well, good luck in hell. That's the sort of the feeling of trust and faith without vulnerability. This is, I think you can see this everywhere, not even just in spiritual traditions and religions, but in every kind of political ideology, any kind of campaigning that people do where they believe it so much to be true that they close down their ability to see the evidence of other things around them. Climate deniers, for example, with Greta Thunberg so skillfully pointing out the science and just saying, you know, look at the science, look at the evidence, and these people are unwilling to look at things. This is trust without vulnerability, because if they did, then they would see that they're actually not as invulnerable to feelings of hurt or shame or disappointment. And so what they're doing is just trying to put on another layer of not feeling any kind of feelings of vulnerability. Whereas faith in Amida, this is a flower opening up. This is us taking off the layers that have protected us, all our defense mechanisms, all our guardedness, everything that we think is actually making us stronger. Amida says, well, take the example of going out in the rain with a raincoat and an umbrella. And in this country, you have to, otherwise you get soaked right through. We have to protect ourselves. Otherwise, it's just too uncomfortable. And as they say, there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing. But what tends to happen is that we get used to wearing our coats, even when the sun is shining. We get used to taking an umbrella just in case it rains. And Amida's sun, when we feel that and we can trust that Amida's sunlight is there, it warms us so that we take our coats off. We leave our umbrellas at home. We know that if it rains, Amida's sun will come and dry us again. It's not going to rain forever. We're not going to get soaked through to the bones that will be all wrinkled and shriveled and frozen. We'll maybe feel a bit of difficulty for some time. We'll definitely feel in touch with how fragile we are, how vulnerable we are, how frail we are as human beings. But eventually, Amida's warmth and love will restore us, will nourish us, will make us full of all the strength, all the courage that we need in order to keep ourselves open, know when to put our coats on when it rains, and know when to take it off when it stops raining. So I thought it'd be good to just sort of put a little bit more flesh on the bones of the bamboo person and faith, and I hope that was okay. Namo Amida Bu.